Hello, welcome to Back to Basics Bushcraft. I thought, for an introductory video, I would discuss why a Scandi grind on knives. You'll see here I have a Mora Classic number 2 and an A. Wright & Sons Bushcrafter. These are two different types of knives with, other than the obvious, steel blades. The only other thing they have in common is a Scandinavian grind, or a zero bevel. Now, this bevel lends itself very well to almost every cutting task one would encounter while doing bushcraft and woodcraft. See, I have here a piece of broomstick. It's a very light wood, straight grain all the way through. You can kind of see here, perhaps, the grain pattern running straight, and you can see that when you're cutting, you'll be cutting across the grain a lot in this particular piece of wood. I'm not even sure what kind of wood it is, but it's very dry, it's very light, and it makes some really good feather sticks. Now, the Scandi grind lends itself to these tasks so well because it takes 99.9% of the guesswork out of finding that sweet spot for making very fine feather sticks. Again, single grind, both sides, no micro bevel or secondary bevel. Effortlessly, you see how thin that is. Perfectly honed knife you can get many very thin curls out of your feather stick. I'm not going to say that it cannot be done with other grinds like the hollow grind or the saber grind with a secondary bevel, but it is rather difficult. Whereas with a Scandi grind, it takes all the guesswork out of finding that sweet spot for making your feather sticks. Having the ability to make such fine shavings means that when you strike a ferro rod, your spark has a higher likelihood of catching that feather on fire. Also, when it comes to a lot of the notches that you carve, that Scandi grind zero bevel makes these carving tasks so much easier. Just that quick. I have a small V-notch. Also, when it comes to maintaining this edge, there's no guesswork. Simply lie your blade flat on your honing stone, rotate it up until it stops, and there's your angle. Very easy to maintain in the field, and a lot of these tasks are taken for granted, mostly because when we go out in the woods, we're not in a situation where our fine motor skills are almost non-existent because of starvation or dehydration. Being able to pick up a piece of wood and not have to guess at how to hold the knife in order to get some feather sticks to get a fire going because you may be cold, that quick, added more feathers. Perhaps you're hungry And true hunger, not I'd love to have a snack, but true hunger, where you're fatigued, you might be shaking, your mental acuity is compromised. Makes it easier to cut, makes it easier to make feather sticks, and just overall easier to handle the knife. So that is why I believe one should choose a Scandi grind knife over any other type of grind.